Guys, I learned some new tricks when I was doing my makeup, and I wanted to show them to you guys because I know a lot of you use mascara products. So basically it's the same like placement for the product, but the order is different, and apparently it makes a huge difference. I learned this yesterday. So you're gonna start, instead of starting with your highlight, we're gonna start with contour. For some reason, it just goes on so much better without the highlight on first. So I'm just gonna start up here at my ear and bring it down my jaw, or not my jaw, I'm sorry, my cheekbone. And I'm not gonna go past this line right here because I don't want a mustache. And the contour color I'm using right now is Ash. It's awesome for my winter colors. So if you are feeling like your contour isn't showing up good, you may need to be recolor matched for a new contour for winter. Okay. And then I'm going to take it on my forehead. And I love contouring my forehead because I have a pretty big forehead and I don't have bangs to cover it up. And so contour on here really helps just make it seem a little bit smaller. Okay, so then I'm going to just get a little bit just on the edge of my brush, and I'm going to bring it down my jaw. And I want that line as straight as possible because it's just really like bringing out how my jaw, it's bringing out that jawline really well. And this is awesome for people like me who lack a distinct jawbone. But do you see how that dimension in my cheeks and in my forehead is just like popping right now? It did not look like that when I would do my highlight first for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, and then also you can see my lovely dark under eye circles. I'm going to use this orange color, Frenchie. It's awesome for you like color correction on the color wheel. You do your opposite. So my dark circles are pretty blue. They're bluish purple. So if they were just purple, I would stick with a yellow. But because they have that blue in them, something with a little bit of orange in it really helps. So I'm just using this pointy end of the 30-second hack brush, and I'm just going to put this orange color under my eyes. Just on that where the dark circle is. And you don't want like a ton because you don't want it to look cakey or textury once you go in with your highlight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of buffer it out with this bigger end by stippling, and I'm just like pressing it into my under eye skin. And this is like magic. It makes a huge difference for under eye circles. Okay, and then I'm gonna make sure I get all the orangey color off this pointy end, because then I'm gonna go in with this pointy end of the 30-second hack brush, and I'm going to do my highlight color under my eyes. And you really don't need a lot, and I'm just gonna kind of pat it in there, and I'm putting it in this triangle of my, from my nose to the corner of my eye, this inside triangle, to really brighten that area up. Okay. And then just up the side of my nose as well. Oh, I totally forgot to contour my nose. So before I put any highlight on my nose, I'm gonna go back in and contour my nose. Okay, so when I do my nose, I have a bump in my nose. So if you have a pretty straight nose, you can get away with using this brush to contour. You just use like one side and you just press it really lightly. But I have a bump in my nose, so I actually use a smaller brush, and I just start right up here and I just draw as straight as possible a line down the side of my nose. But I don't go like too far out here on the side because you want to keep those lines as close together as possible to make your nose look a little bit thinner, if that's the look you're wanting, is like a thin nose, which is what I'm going for. And this brush that I'm using is actually our eyebrow brush, but it's just really awesome for controlling. I like to use it to do eyeliner on my eyes as well. It's just really easy to draw lines on with. Okay, so then I'm going to use this kind of fluffy but smaller end of this Detail Hack brush, and I'm going to blend this out a little bit. But just very lightly, because I don't want to take it off. I just don't want the lines to be quite so sharp and noticeable. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my highlight and I'm going to finish highlighting. I'm going to take my highlight up here on my forehead and kind of fan it out across. And it's nice because my skin is pretty good right now. I don't need a bunch of coverage, so this is literally just for brightening and evening out that little bit of redness that's in my skin. So I'm just putting it right across my forehead. The only part of my face that does need coverage is right here. I have some breakout, and so I'm going to go in just a little bit heavier just to get that coverage. But I don't need a whole lot. And then on my chin, I'm just going to put a little bit and just fan it out across my jaw. And I'm doing really light layers because I don't want it to, you know, like melt off. Oh, sounds like my kids aren't happy anymore. Have to run out there and check on my baby in a second. Okay. So I'm just going to go in with this really small brush. This is the small end of the multitasker brush, and I'm just going to spot touch those breakout spots just to make sure that I get those nice and covered. And then I'll blend over them. Awesome. Okay. So then I'm going to take this bigger end of the 30-second hack brush, and I'm just going to stipple all over my face and blend out all my lines from contouring and from highlighting. And I am going to highlight my nose because I forgot to do that. Keep forgetting my nose today. So right down the center between those lines, don't cover them up, and then on the sides and by like your nostril, and then up into the inside corner of the eye. Okay, and then just lightly blend those so that the lines are soft. See how that like makes my nose appear very straight and much thinner than it did before. I'm just gonna blend that out. Okay, so my face is highlighted and contoured now. Look at the dimension it gave my cheeks, like just so much pop. And my forehead and my nose, like jawline. So you just blend it out, and then now that it's all blended, I'm gonna go in with my blush, and I'm gonna use Plum today. It's this pretty purpley color, mauve, I don't know. I'm gonna smile, and then right on the back of the apple of my cheek, just flush with my contour line, I'm just gonna dab that in and give a little bit of life to my cheek. And then when it's pretty heavy, like when it's looking really bright, I like to just kind of use this really fluffy end and just blend it out a little bit so that I still have that nice color, but it's not quite so like, wow. Okay, then I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna make sure that this triangle is really clean, that none of that color got up in there from the blush. And so I'm just gonna do a little bit of brightening right here. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm gonna just go in with my illuminator, and this is a fun trick that I came up with. I'm gonna use this big end of this brush. It applies the illuminator perfectly, and then you don't have to use your fingers You just dab it right in here, and it just puts it on so pretty. I'm loving it. So this is my new favorite trick right now. And then once you're done applying the illuminator, you just take a damp beauty blender and you lightly just go over all of your face with that beauty blender to really blend in the rest of the product and make sure that it's smooth and not textury anywhere. But I feel like the lighting in here is a little bit harsh. I look a little green, but that's okay. So that's it. You can still see the dimension. It's really bright right here. My under eye circles have been dramatically helped. I have a jawline now. That's the power of highlighting and contouring. So in order, contour first, then highlight, then blush, then illuminator. Super easy. You only apply where it needs to go. It's a one layer, so your face isn't feeling super cakey. It's awesome.